Yes, okay. All right. So, how is everybody doing on this Tuesday night? Yes, on this Tuesday night, a night that I try to come on and to chat with the people. I try to grandstand. If you don't know me by now, I am Mother Teresa. I like to say the other Mother Teresa from East Texas. East Texas being Nacogdoches, the oldest town in Texas, a place that I am proud to call my home. And so I just wanted to just kind of talk to you all just a little bit on tonight. And as we are talking, I just wanted to share a couple of things with you all. Honey, that's okay. Uh, I wanted to share a little bit of things with you all. I'm kind of rambling a little bit as I am trying to get everything put together and everything. So, again, how's everybody doing on this Tuesday night? Honey, if you would take this, I hope everybody is doing well on this Tuesday night. How has your week been so far? I hope it's been great. Let me just tell you, of course, I've been sharing with you all for the last couple of weeks about us getting ready to come back to school, about us getting prepared to be in school. And so now school has started. And I like to say that I love it when the kids are there, when the students are there, because basically I feel like we're doing a lot of prep work before the students actually come back, and we're doing a lot of training. We're doing a lot of professional development, and that's all good. But when you work for a school district, you want to have some interactions with the kids. And so basically that's what I was looking forward to, is the students coming back. And so now they're back, and they didn't miss a beat. So they were ready to get here, and I think the parents were ready to get them here, get them back in school. So now that we're back in school, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get this school year started. Listen, you all, I wanted to share with you all, first of all, if you have not picked up Conversations from a Mother's Heart, then please pick up this book. All right, I have another journal that I wanted to share with you all. This is also Tales from the Clothesline. And I even have a third journal. I don't have it right now here with me. It's probably one, it's right down there in front of the desk. But if you have not picked up these items, please support me and with purchasing of these items. I am definitely a small business. I have these three journals that I know that would be a blessing to you. First of all, these two journals here, they complement one another. So you have Conversations from a Mother's Heart, and then you also have Conversations from a Father's Heart, or from a male's heart. I called it from a Father's Heart because it was a complimentary guide to the Mother's Heart. But this is for any male in your life, and not necessarily just for fathers, but it's for any male in your life. And I can tell you that this guide or this journal is a little bit different than my Conversations from a Mother's Heart. And the reason why I can say it's a little bit different, but it's a lot alike, is that because I actually gave the men several prompts that I'm asking them as they are completing the journal or working through the journal, that they actually read some of these prompts and possibly use this as a guiding point for when they are journaling. And if you do not know the value of journaling, let me just tell you, journaling is a really good thing. It's really good for you if you are one that is trying to getting I don't know, get in touch with some of your feelings and some of your emotions and different things like that. But it's not always just for that. Sometimes people like to journal because they like to chronologize the things that they do from day to day. But then also when people are on like a self a self-help journey, or they are trying to do things to better themselves, a lot of times they will journal. So if you journal, tell me in the comments why you journal. And I'm not sure who's on here with me right now. I see Sister Sherry. I see my daughter Net. Oh, let me tell you all. Today is a national holiday. The national holiday began 44 years ago. And it began in the oldest town in Texas, Nacogdoches. That's when my oldest daughter was born. And she has declared it a national holiday. So I want to say to my oldest daughter, Rheonetress Rochelle Caldwell Culpepper, happy 44th birthday, daughter. Mama and Daddy and the whole Culpepper crew, we wish you a happy 44th, and we will see you soon, okay? So listen, you all, if you have someone that is celebrating a birthday on today, let me know. If you know somebody else that's celebrating a birthday, let me know in the comments, okay? And if you have somebody that's gonna have a birthday really soon, let me know, and I can definitely wish them a happy birthday. So going back to the journaling, this is something that we often ask our students, or some of the students that we work with, to journal. If they are going through some things, or, some emotional things, or they just need to be able to talk about what's going on in their lives. Journaling is a really great way for you to do that. And again, a lot of times we will ask our students to do that. And if we're asking our students to do that, why can't we do that? Okay? And I definitely use my journal for lots of different things, especially this one, because it's more like a notebook. And so I write in it. This is not the one that I've been writing in, but I write in it different things, as I'm going about my day or whatever. There are, different notes that I put in here. But so this one is more of a notebook if you just need some blank pages to write on. It has a little, topic at the top, a little, I would say also another prompt, clothesline, wire, and pose, since we're talking about tales from the clothesline. But let me go back to this one. I'm going to share with you all some of the prompts that I have for the men folk, as I call my people in the Culpepper crew. So one of the things that, and I'm going to read a couple of them for you. It says, today, I am grateful for the strength within me, the ability to protect and provide for my loved ones, and the wisdom to navigate life's challenges. I am thankful for the lessons I've learned, the friendships that have shaped me, and the love that surrounds me. As a man, I appreciate the opportunity to grow, support, and inspire those around me. I am grateful for the privilege to be a positive force in the world. So that's one of the daily prompts. That's one of the things that I've included in here. So, if you are a guy and you have this journal, after you read that first prompt, then that may be one of the things that you might want to write about. And then another one that I have, another prompt is, today I give thanks for the moments of silence and introspective that allow me to connect with my inner self and find peace within. Another prompt is, I express gratitude for the laughter, the love, and the unforgettable moments shared with my children. And so, again, if you do not have not tales, but conversations from a father's heart, please go out and get it. It is a great place for the men in your life to journal. And you all know, sometimes we say men, they don't, get it. They don't do all of that stuff, or that mushy stuff, or my husband would call that frou-frou stuff. But this will give him an opportunity, as they're starting in their morning, to have a place that they can write about the things that they're grateful for. And then, of course, it does have the daily prompts. And then at the evening time, coming back in the evening time, to then go back and reflect on their day about the things that has happened in their day. So after I have went through all of the conversations from a mother's heart, because you know that's a lot of times the topics that I talk about on Tuesday nights. Eventually, I will get to the topics in here, and we will be able to start sharing some of these things, and that will be our conversations for on Tuesday nights. So, because today is my daughter's birthday, and because I wanted to make sure that I am following the path that I have been doing, which is sharing information from my book, one of the topics in here has to deal with dealing with your children. And I just want to say, one of the things that I have noticed, and for anybody that's on here who has grown children, I want you to know that parenting your adult children is very different than parenting your younger children, your children before they become adults. You know, as we are parenting our young children, you know, when they are children, we are trying to give them all the guidance that we know that we're supposed to be giving to our children to make sure that they are going in the path or the path that we have, you know, helped to try to form for them. But also we're trying to make sure that they understand, you know, what God's plan for their life is. So we're trying to teach them. We're trying to instruct them of the ways of the things that, you know, would be a good, for them to be good, productive citizens. Because isn't that what we want? We want to raise our children to one day then leave our homes and create or establish their own homes and have, you know, families of, you know, for themselves. So as we are rearing our children or raising our children, there are certain things that we do. There are certain, you know, we are responsible for them, totally responsible for them. We make sure that we provide their needs and a lot of times their wants. And not only do we provide their needs, but we make sure that they have shelter. We make sure that, you know, that they have clothing, that they have food, all of those things that go along with being a parent and raising children. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, I really hope you're having a great time raising your children. Because let me just tell you, as my children have gotten older and now my grandchildren are getting to, I have a set of grandchildren that are all young adults now. But those days, oh my goodness, the days where the children, my girls and Will were little, those are the days that I can never get back. Those are the days that I look back, and a lot of times, and I look at them and I look at my children and I can just recall them being where they were, my little babies. And those were great days. I'm not saying that these days are not great, but it's different. It is so very different. When they are your babies, you know, when they're younger, they are your babies. And it's just a very different thing growing, you know, growing children and then grown children. And so, as again, like I was stating, there's a difference in the way that our relationship, it should be, you know, as your children become grown. Hopefully you have put in them everything that God has given you to help them to be good, solid individuals. And when I say that, I mean you have done everything that you possibly could have done to make sure that your children are okay emotionally, mentally, financially, physically, and all the other ways that goes along with them. And I noticed that as my girls, okay, were getting older, I still found myself still having conversations with them as if they were younger. Now, I don't think that, Ned and Candace, if you're on here, and if I still do this, let me know. But I don't think that I do it as much, you know. I try to I try to respect them as adults. Although they're my children, I try to respect them as adults as I would any other adult. And so I love the relationship that I have with my children. I absolutely do. And I thank God that that's only possible because of the relationship that I had with them when they were younger. And so raising your children or raising adult children, there are some things that you may find yourself wanting to get involved or try to take the lead on it, but they will never learn if that's all that we do. They will never learn how to do certain things if we always step in. They will never know what it's like, what true independence is, if we always step in. Now, I'm not saying don't help your children, because we're going to be the first, to help our children, regardless of what age they are. We're going to be the first to do that. But we want to make sure that they understand, and you should want this too for your children. Make sure that your children understand how to be adults. And then as a parent, make sure that you understand the relationship has now changed. There are certain things that you just cannot do with your adult children that you could have done with them when they were 5 or even 15. So just know that. And as a parent, make sure that you are honoring your children. Make sure that you're honoring the fact that now they are parents, and now they need to parent their children the way that they parent, that they want to parent. And hopefully, if you did your job well, there are going to be some things that, of course, they're going to pick out the very best things, and hopefully they drop the things that were not so good and just kind of push that out of the way. So you want to make sure that the habits and the things that they're doing with their children are the absolute best. And I'm not going to say that we're not going to ever make mistakes as a parent, because I can raise both my hands and my feet as well and say that I've made some mistakes. There's some things that I have done that I look back and I say, oh my gosh, Teresa, why did you respond like that? Why did you take that approach to handle that situation like that? But I will say that when you know better, you definitely do better. Hello there, cousin Renita. When you know to do better, you definitely do better. So as a parent, and as your, like I said, your relationship with your children should change when they become adults. And that is a good thing. I feel like with my adult children, there's nothing that they cannot talk to me about. And some of the things that they do talk to me about, I try to make sure, even if I feel like if it's kind of above my head or something that I may even feel uncomfortable about, I try to make sure that Net's doing lots of stars, okay. I try to make sure that my reaction is not so where it deters them from talking to me. But let me just tell you, sometimes I cannot help it. Sometimes my face and it just comes right out of me. I am my mother's child. So if you all know Miss Everline Eigner, I am her child. And sometimes the things just kind of come forward, and it's just, it is what it is. One of the things that, and I as I'm sharing this with you all, if you all know my girls, since they were about 3 years old, they've had a head full of hair, just lots of hair, just major, big hair. And I love their hair now that I'm older and I don't have to comb their hair, because when they were younger and they had all of that hair, it was such a chore. It was such a chore doing it, and I would just like it was really too much. But we didn't believe in cutting their hair, and once it started growing, it was just like it just continued to grow. And so I've always loved my girls to have big hair. And so whenever they talk about cutting their hair, that's always, you remember I said sometimes my face tails off on me. Yes, sometimes my face tails off on me, Net and Candace, and I guess I just can't contain it. Speaking of big hair, Will has big hair as well. Now I like big hair on my girls and even my son. I don't care, for the big hair myself, because I think the shorter it is, the more I can manage it. But that's just one of the things. We're talking tonight. I'm sharing with you all some things about how to parent your children as they become adults versus when they were children. And so that was just one of the things one of the examples that I was sharing with you all. And another thing, as my time is wrapping up, another thing that I would like to say with your adult children, also make sure that they understand. I remember I said something about their boundaries that I try not to cross with them, but then also you want to make sure that the respect that you have taught your children to respect their elders, and that they respect their parents, even though it is an adult, you're dealing adult to adult. You've got to make sure that they still respect you as an adult, respect you as a parent. My children, thank God, I don't have to deal with that. But I have seen some very disrespectful relationships, and it just makes me wonder, the about the relationship that maybe that parent and that child, or that now the adult, had when that person was a child. How did they react to one another? What was their relationship like? Because there is just no way that I can sense that a child could be this disrespectful or that disrespectful to their parent, and this is the way that that it just all of a sudden happened. I would think that it's been like that for quite some time. So adult children, if you still have your parents, make sure that you're being respectful towards them, and make sure that you give them the honor that is due to them. I try to tell my son, who is still here in the home with me, about making sure that he's respectful, not only to the people in our home, and the people, his elders, but make sure that he's even respectful to the young students that he has in his either his classroom, or that's playing on their teams, on his teams. Because if you start teaching them when they are young, that is something that is developed in them as they grow to become adults. So make sure that you're being respectful to everyone that you come in contact with. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. It doesn't cost anything to be respectful. It doesn't cost anything to just show people kindness. It definitely does not. Hello there, Erica. How are you doing? And how is that baby doing? Listen, you all, I am just about done. We were talking about raising children. I am just about done. I'm going to say this as I am closing. The best years that I can think of, in my life, was when I was raising my children. And it was hard times. There were some hard times. There were some difficult times. And when I say that, I don't mean that we were, struggling, financially or whatever. But sometimes it's just the not knowing what to do. The not knowing what to do. I often say when I was teaching my parenting classes is that the one thing that you did not receive when you left the hospital after you delivered your baby is a parenting book or an instruction guide that told you what to do in every situation that you would encounter. They didn't give those out, and they still don't give those out. So it's trial and error. And a lot of times we typically will parent the way that our parents parented us. And so if you had a great example from a parent, or even it may have been grandparents, if you had great examples, then you're going to pretty much be okay. But if you did not have a good role model, you did not have a loving, a caring home, then and someone that was loving and caring towards you, then you may not know how to then do that or share that or show that with your own children. So a lot of times when we're talking about, the homes that our kids coming from, from school or whatever, we've got to consider, or the behaviors that they're exhibiting, we've got to start considering what type of home life did they come from. And so because we know that, then we should be able to look at those kids a little bit differently. I shared with you on last week. About a lot of times when kids show up at school and if they're misbehaving, a lot of times what we look at as an educator, we want to know, well, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? And again, I will say it's not what's wrong with them. We've got to start learning to start asking, what happened to you? What happened in your life that causes you to behave in the manner in which you're behaving? Because I can guarantee you there is a story. There is a story about their behavior, and there is a story of the reason why they are behaving in the manner in which they do. So find out the story. I advocate making sure that you develop relationships with those students. Not only we're talking about parenting, but guess what? Sometimes some of you all will stand in the gap as a parent for students. And it not just necessarily be students that are, in the classroom, because I know not everyone, works in that particular setting, but just even people that are in your family, some of your younger cousins, your nieces and nephews, a lot of times they will look for you as that surrogate parent. So if that is the case, make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. That is one of the charges that was given to us from God, is that we rear our children and we rear them up in the way that He would want, us to, in His ways and according to the words of God, the Bible, which is our guide, our guideline. So make sure as a parent that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. Listen, I know I'm seem like I'm a little bit distracted, and I'm going to have to figure out a better manner to find the music that I typically come on and go off to, because I always get tripped up at the very end and you see me searching. So that's what I'm looking for. So let's just come on. Let's talk about what we're talking about. I see amen. Erica, you are just getting started, baby. And with this little girl of yours, you are just getting started. And I know that you had a good example. I remember your mom. So I know that you're going to be a great mom. I know that you are. And so for everyone else that joined with me on tonight, I am so glad that you stopped by for about 30 minutes to just grandstand with Mother Teresa. Oh, baby, I'm praying for you. That you stop by to grandstand with Mother Teresa, where I talk about the things that are good in my family's life, in my life, and the life of those that are connected with me. Thank you for grandstanding, and I look forward to seeing you all again on next Tuesday night. All right, bye-bye, everybody. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode, Sister Sherry. Hello there, my sisters. And my sister says hello to all the grandstanders. So on behalf of my sister Cent, who was so pivotal in my journey 44 years ago as I gave birth to my daughter, Net, I said this morning, Cent, as I was sharing with Net her birthday story, I said I had the best nurse ever. The best nurse ever. Without the credentials, she was actually that's a whole nother episode. I probably should have talked more about that on today. But on behalf of my sister, because she's saying hello, grandstanders, and welcome. My sister Cynthia is saying good night, everybody. We'll see y'all the next time. Okay? Hey, Miracle. And everybody else. Hey, Martha. Thank you all for joining us on tonight. If I didn't call your name, I didn't see it, okay?